Section 9, forces and their effects. And we've got a question here that's going to, it's a higher tier question because we're going to be using two formulas and we're going to need the one answer to feed into the other, so multi-step. An athlete runs 100 metres race. I'm happy with that unit. With an average force of 120 newtons, I'm happy with that unit. The race takes them 11.6 seconds. Happy with that. What is the power of the athlete? So the crucial part is, well, we know the PET formula. And the crucial bit is, well, we've got the time, but we don't know the energy. And this is understanding that energy is equivalent to work. So we're going to work out work first using our fat, wobbly dinosaurs. Get that? And then we're going to move that into that formula. So tricky question this, because it's multi-step. And if you know how to do it and understand it well, fair play, that's really good. So now that I'm done there, I've checked all the units. Everything's fab and groovy with those. So first job, work equals force times distance. 120 newtons times 100 meters is 12,000 joules. Happy with that. Now let's bounce that into our power. So just to put this on here. So the first job is we used fat wobbly dinosaurs to get that. And now we're moving that into PET. But we know that work and energy are equivalent to each other. So now it's moving our 12,000 down, divided by 11.6 equals 1,034 watts. If you're ever stuck on that, as I couldn't remember, they would give you the mark for joules per second or joules seconds to the -1. They mean the same thing, but it'd be great if you could just use watts. On to the next one. Recently been looking at this. Is this moment in equilibrium? You must show you're working out within your answers. It's saying you can't just say yes, you've got to do your calculations. So I'm going to split that into a anti-clockwise and clockwise moments. I've tried to teach you, put a dashed line down so you split it up from the pivot. And that is the pivot there. So we know fat, moody dinosaurs. So we've got wobbly ones and we've got moody ones. Now it's find out this turning moment. So find out that anti-clockwise moment. Find this clockwise moment, and we can see, well, that's force times distance. Find both of those and compare them. So first job, 21 times 1.25, done. 7.5 times 3.5. They spit out 26.25 Newton meters. Same for each side. Is it in equilibrium? And you have to state exactly this. Yes, it is in equilibrium as the clockwise and anti-clockwise moments are equal to each other. And that is, oh, I dropped my pen again. That is the principle of moments. So it's just finishing off with that. Okay, next one. Now we've got gear ratios. It says a 12-tooth gear is rotated at 20 RPM. So I've got 20 RPM there. And it's going clockwise. It is attached to a 20-tooth gear. What direction will the 20-tooth gear move? And what will its rotational? So I'm just going to draw a little picture. I've got a 12 and I've got a 20. And I'm turning you this way. So if we turn this one that way, the other one will move in the opposite direction. There's a mark. And the next part is we'll find out the gear ratio, make it a unitary ratio. So it's going to be here 1 to n. Once we've got that, we can either multiply it up or divide it down. And I'm trying to get you to do that because it gets you to picture what's going on. So we can see if I turn this 12 one, this is going to have less, the 21 is going to have less rotational periods. Okay, so now we're ready to go. So first job then, well, if I turn the one gear clockwise, the other one's going to go anti-clockwise because they're meshed together. 12 to 20, I'm going to go 20 divided by 12 gives me 1 to 1.666666. Now I know that, well, that's going to, the bigger gear is going to turn less often. So 20 divided by 1.66 is 12 rotations per minute now. But the crucial part is it says here it wants it in revolutions per hour. Well, we know that there are 60 minutes in an hour. So I'm just going to have to divide that last part by 60. 0.20 revolutions per hour. In fact, that should be 0.200. I'm going to add that in. Revolutions per hour. Okay, going to the next one. The company wants to add a gear that provides a clockwise turning moment with double the rotational period of the 12. How could this be achieved? So one of the crucial things to note here is the only thing that matters is my first gear and my last gear. I compare those. I can put lots and lots of other gears in between, and these have no effect. They transfer the energy, but we're only interested in that first and last. So the best way to do this then is, well, I want to change the rotational period, so I could use, there's my 12, there's my 20. And my next part is, well, that's the system I've already got. I'm just going to add a third gear. So it's add a third gear. And now what does it want? It wants with double the rotational period. So I need a gear at the end that's smaller. So let's get rid of that. I need a little baby one. And if I want it twice the rotational period, it needs to have half the teeth, 6. And now we're away. And the reason for adding the gear on the third one is I want it to go clockwise. So I can see this one's going clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise. And then that's it done. Now to put that into words, add a third gear after the 22nd gear. Perfect. With half as many or 6 teeth. State the principle of moments. We've done this before. At equilibrium, that's the bit that'll be missed out. So make sure you got that in. At equilibrium. Pair of eyes, smiley face, looking at that. The clockwise turning moment is equal to the anti-clockwise turning moment. And that is that mini unit taught.